Hello everyone, welcome back to our next class, Non-Chordates, Unit 1, Protista, Parazoa and Metazoa. Today I will be discussing about locomotion in Protista. Let's know about introduction. One of the most striking features of many protist species is the presence of some type of locomotory organelle easily visible under a light microscope. A few forms can move by gliding or floating, although the vast majority move by means of whips or small hairs known as flagella or cilia respectively. Those organelles give their names to informal groups flagellates and ciliates of protists. It means the animals known flagellates and ciliates because of their presence of flagella and cilia. A lesser number of protists employ pseudopodia. Those same organelles may be used in feeding as well. Biologists generally categorize protists according to their mode of movement or locomotion. All protists can travel through water by one of three methods like cilia, flagella, or pseudo-exopodia. Here you see in the figure A, it is the body of paramecium and the outer membrane or the body cover possesses the enormous number of cilia which causes movement or help the animal in locomotion. In number B, this is the figure of amoeba. These are the outgrowth or finger-like projection known as pseudopod, and this pseudopod help the animal in locomotion or causes movement. The number C, this is the figure of euglena, and it possesses a whip or tail-like flagellum, and this help the animal in swimming in water and thus causes the movement. So these are the locomotory organs of the protist animal. The following points highlight the 5 modes of locomotion in protists. The modes are pseudopodial locomotion, flagellar locomotion, ciliary locomotion, wriggling locomotion, locomotion by mucilage propulsion. Pseudopodial locomotion, it is slow, creeping type of locomotion which is performed with the help of protoplasmic outgrowths called pseudopodia. Pseudopodial locomotion occurs in sarcodines and slime molds. Pseudopodia are of 4 types. Lobopodia. These pseudopodia are lobe-like with broad and blunt ends. These are present in amoeba. Philopodia. These pseudopodia are fine thread-like tapering and are composed of ectoplasm. These are found in Euglypha. Exopodia. These are long and stiff with hard axial filament. These pseudopodia are present in actinophytes. Reticulopodia. These are long and branching. The branches of adjacent pseudopodia may form network. These are found in Globigerina. So here in the picture you see this is Lobopodium. This is a lobe-like structure. This is Philopodium and this is Exopodium. This is axial filament and this is Reticulopodium. This is branch-like structure just like a tree branch. So these are the types of pseudopodia present in protist animals. Now you see flagellar locomotion. Flagella show whip-like movement. They usually beat independently. This type of locomotion occurs in dinoflagellates, for example, goniolates, euglenoids, for example, euglena, and zooflagellates, for example, leishmania. So this animal shows flagellar locomotion. Now you see ciliary locomotion. Cilia show oar-like movement. All the cilia of a cell show coordinated movements, which are of two types, isochronic and metachronic rhythms. In isochronic or synchronous rhythm, all the cilia of a cell beat simultaneously. It means at a time together. They do so in rapid succession, one after the other. In case of metachronic rhythms, it occurs in ciliates, for example, paramecium. Basically, flagella and cilia are identical in structure. However, they differ in some respects as mentioned below. Now you see wriggling locomotion. It is slow, worm-like movement which is performed with the help of wave of contraction and expansion in the body. For example, sporozoans, no-flagellates, euglenoids. So this animal shows wriggling type of locomotion. Here in the picture you see this is a beating of a flagellum. Another picture you see the movement of a cilium. This is the effective stroke and this is recovery stroke. So in such a way, flagella and cilia causes movement. Now you see locomotion by mucilage propulsion. Some protists like diatoms do not have any organelles of locomotion. They can, however, move from one place to another through secretion of mucilage. This type of locomotion occurs in the direction opposite to that of mucilage secretion. Now comes to details of cilia and flagella. Cilia and flagella are similar in structure, though the latter tend to be longer. It means the flagella is comparatively long than cilia. They are also fundamentally similar in function. Cilia and flagella are known among plants and animals, although they are totally absent from the true fungi. The prokaryotic flagellum is basically non-motile. It is entirely extracellular and it is neither homologous with nor ancestral to the eukaryotic flagella. The distribution of cilia and flagella over the cell varies between the different protists. Many of the algal protists are characteristically biflagellates, means two flagella, and in many instances both flagella originate near or at the anterior pole of the body. The presence, absence, or pattern of the mastigonemes, minute scales or hairs covering the flagellum, may also differ between two flagella. Some parasitic zooflagellates have hundreds of long flagella. So you imagine not one, two, sometimes they possesses hundreds of flagella. Protists show an even greater diversity in the number distribution, and arrangement of the cilia over the cell. In some protists, single cilia have sometimes single cilia also present, in effect been replaced by compound ciliary organelles, for example, membranelles and cirri, which may be used effectively in locomotion and in feeding. Typically, flagellate moves through an aqueous medium by the undulatory motions of the flagella. It means wavy motion. The waves of movement are generated at the base of the flagellum. The direction and speed of propulsion and other elements of movement depend on a number of factors, including the viscosity of the medium, say for water medium, the size of the organism, the amplitude means breadth and length of the waves, the length and exact position of the flagella, and the kinds and presence or absence of flagellar hairs. Some ciliates can move much more rapidly by virtue of having many though shorter cilia beating in coordination with each other. The synchronized beat along the longitudinal ciliary rows produce a metachronal wave. Flagella and cilia are also involved in sensory functioning, probably by means of their outer membranes, which contain different kinds of receptors. Chemoreceptors, for example, can recognize minute changes in the medium surrounding the organism as well as cues from presumed mating patterns that lead to sexual behavior. So, uh, you imagine that flagella and cilia not only causes movement, it also function as sensory organ and also it help in mating purpose and help reproduction. Pseudopodia, in contrast to the swimming movement produced by flagella and cilia, pseudopodia are responsible for amoeboid movement, a sliding or crawling like form of locomotion. Like flagella and cilia, pseudopodia also causes movement like sliding or crawling type. The formation of cytoplasmic projections or pseudopodia on the forward edge of the cell, pulling the cell along, is characteristic of the microscopic unicellular protozoan known as amoebas. Such movement, however, is not exclusive to the amoebas. Pseudopodia, even more so than flagella and cilia, are widely used in phagotropic feeding as well as in locomotion. So you know that cilia and flagella helps in locomotion and helps in food capture. Like flagella and cilia, pseudopodia also help in phagotropic feeding besides locomotion. These are several different types of pseudopodia, including lobopodia, filopodia, reticulopodia, and exopodia. The first three of those types are basically similar and are quite widespread among amoeba. The fourth type, Exopodia, is distinct, being more complex and characteristic of certain specialized protists. The types, numbers, shapes, distribution, and actions of Pseudopodia are important morphological considerations. Lobopodia may be flattened or cylindrical, tubular. Amoeba Proteus is probably the best known protist possessing Lobopodia. Other pseudopodia found among amoeboids include the Filopodia and the Reticulopodia. The Filopodia are hyaline, slender, and often branching structures in which contraction of microfilaments move the organism's body along the substrates. Reticulopodia are fine threads that may not only branch but also anastomose to form a dense network, which is particularly useful in entrapping prey. Microtubules are involved in the mechanism of movement and the continued migration of an entire reticulum carries the cell in the same direction. Exopodia are much more complex than the other types of pseudopods. They are composed of an outer layer of flowing cytoplasm and that surrounds a central core containing a bundle of microtubules which are cross-linked in specific patterns. So these are the characteristic features of different types of pseudopodia present in protist animal. Bibliography, and with this I conclude my lecture. Thank you.